Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she walk that thing jiggle. And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back flow, we back again so highly. This that back in my back flow, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back flow, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, yeah, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this my, back in my bag. Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything in Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche. Steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson face, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to busy at the Millies, out on Club Hearst.
Chichi, my Chichi, oh so soft and cuddly. With a thumb in her mouth, she's really neat. Fun to wiggle his little feet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Happy, happy, my Chichi. I love you, my Chichi.
I love you, my Kiki. What is going on? Can you guys hear me? Neil McKenzie, member for 20 months. Dude, that fucking dedication and excuse drop. Thank you, Neil. We are doing it, brother. We're doing it. Hello, Neil. Hello, Neil. Hello, brother Paul. Hello, Addicted to Blades 2. Good to see you, my man. Channel members both. We got Marco, and that's something we got to talk about. The member live. We may have to do that early. We may have to do it late tonight. We got to talk about that. Paul Mills. Let me start right here with Terry. Oh, Scott just stopped in to say hey at Aries EDC. Good to see you, brother. I'm looking forward to that pass around coming around. I will not keep it long, but I'm stoked. Check it out. 1931 Leatherworks. Good to see you, my man. We've got Marco in the house. We got brother Mad Yako. I think I said hey to channel member Mad, but hello again. Mimo, what is up? Joe Isabella, what is up? Yeah, I jacked my whole entry up. I mean, it's been one of those afternoons. Started kind of crazy, then it just went downhill from there. But we're here now and all is good. Craig, good to see you, my friend. Help with gadgets. Welcome, welcome. Gonna have a good night. It's gonna be a positive night. Gonna be uplifting, gonna be a little educational, gonna be an open forum for you guys to ask questions. We're just gonna cover it all. It's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. And you know what's funny is I know a little of what's going to be talked about. Hey, Michael at Church, welcome, brother. Good to see you, my friend and channel member. So the elephant in the room is I've found out through Driver Defense Knives that there's this little Huntsville JC's wonky blade exhibit thing tomorrow, a little blade show in Huntsville at the JC's building, which tells me there's probably going to be, the tables were $35. Okay. Driver Defense, Dustin Driver is one of my favorite makers, and he happens to make knives about 50 miles from where I live. And he's going to set up there. So I thought I'd go by and say hey to him. I'm sure there's not going to be a lot to film, but maybe just get, if it's even worth it, but just get a short little overview or maybe even live stream from there. But the problem is, if I do the live stream from 11 to 12, I don't know, I think it goes from 9 to 5 or something like that. So, yeah, maybe we'll do the members live either earlier in the morning or maybe Sunday. I'll figure something out. I'll do a poll. But it's not because I want to change it. And it could be that we could just do it at 11, do it short. Jay Cameron, what's up, brother? Because y'all, if you were here last week, you know what we're doing. What is up, said Stevie. Well, this is our pre-said faction tailgating party. And I am actually kind of disappointed because they only had the Crescent City, which is a strawberry lemonade, 50 milligram seltzer, where I prefer the grape lemonade, 50 milligram soda. Now, the seltzer's probably a lot of you might like better because it's not as sweet. But it is a very relaxing. As you guys notice me drink through these, because I'll drink like 2 or 3 of them. I'll get much more laid back, much more relaxed. But it's good to see everybody. I don't know if y'all were at the Honey Bucket last night. I was there. I was in and out of consciousness on the couch. Always a good time at the Honey Bucket. I always love Stevie pointing out his fastest plane to the inevitable person that's sitting there. See, I was going to say the troll, but that'll take me off to a whole nother subject that I don't want to get into because it's not necessary. And I think the best thing to do is just leave certain trolls alone and let them do their thing because they'll fire themselves out. I missed a super chat. Uh-oh. How did I do that? Mimo, dude, thank you so much. Can you get a nannerpuss? You absolutely can get a nannerpuss.
You can call me Nannerpuss, Nannerpuss. And guess what? I love Nannerpuss. You can call You can call me Nannerpuss, Nannerpuss. And guess what? I love Nannerpuss. You can call me Nannerpuss, Nannerpuss. And guess what? I love Nannerpuss.
How did I miss that? I'm sorry, buddy. You can absolutely get a nannerpuss. So am I showing, yeah, rolling through StreamYard, guys, drinking, kind of switching back between Starbucks. So it's kind of like a liquid speedball thing going on here. I do apologize. Do apologize. Do my best. And we will keep the nana push rolling. I've even got the rage bait. I haven't had a good reason like Stevie's the Night's Edge. What's up? I think I heard your name in a chat tonight, dude. But I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to give any power to those that be. But anyways, yo fellers, what's up, Stevie? I saw Maddie in there. I saw Addicted to Knives. But anywho's, so check this knife out that I have been asking for from TCal because TCal, as you guys know, full disclosure, is nice enough to send me knives. I have an affiliate link with TCal, but I choose not to ever take commissions like I do with a lot of the people that I have affiliate links for. I was like, I would rather check out a knife or two, put the money back into the business. Small businesses need to go. But this is the little TCal, non-ringed, 7-inch long adversary. A perfect little Warncliffe that is an absolute slicer. I just got it today. I first put it in my pocket, and I've already poked a hole in my finger trying to put it back in my back pocket. And I'm sure if I'm not careful, if I had a bigger ass, I could probably slice off part of my ass. But yeah, Mersalt, what is going on, brother? Homer Felita as channel members both. That's one of my favorite ones. That has always been one of my favorite shapes. But I'll be honest with you, I was reluctant to try one of the ring models, but Tim does a much bigger ring. I've also got a Mech Fighter. It's on the other side there. It's got a tight ring that I like because it's kind of like a brass knuckle ring. It's a sweet one. And then knife my way. I hear you, buddy. I got to review it, dude. It just came in. It's brand new. And that's another thing. I am not reaching out and accepting knives except from certain people. People are like, well, why would you have that budget knife that's on a Axis lock? Because this is a tenable or tenable. I mispronounced it. And last Sunday or Saturday, I gave away the Cryo, which was a full-size knife that Concept had made for years. And tenable is Cryo or Concepts. Civivi will say to we. 14C aluminum handle. full-size knife, because this is a cryo. It just doesn't have the blade hole. It's got thumb studs instead, and it's an axis lock or bar style lock. Detent's kind of weak, like I would expect, right? I have not opened it up to see if the detent can be adjusted. Not that I've ever had a ton of luck with that, but $52. I don't have a problem with that. I've been pleased with Concept, and I reached out to them. I reached out to Kaiser. They'll sometimes send me stuff because I bought a lot of Kaiser when I started. And there's certain others I reach out to, but very few. So you'll be seeing some whack content, but enjoy it. Mr. Eddie, I saw him tonight. He had a very good comment. And I invited him to come on anytime, or even said if he'd like the traffic, I'd be happy to come on and just talk about things that are, ask questions. I'm curious why, I mean, I understand drama. But Mr. Eddie, yours was funny because somebody was talking about, I think it was Bushcraft, who I love to death, that, he's just a computer genius. Guys, I've been a digital marketer for 20 years. I know the good tricks. I know the bad tricks. I know all the tools available to YouTube. There are white hat, paid advertising, things you might want to do. I don't want to do it because I want to grow organically, i.e., I don't pay for placement. But there's also black hat, where every day my email's full of, do you want to grow your views? Do you want to grow your subscribers? Do you want to grow by 300%? Blah, blah, blah. It's not that expensive to do. To boost your video, which is totally legit. Titanium Justin, what's up? Llama wool, there's just something there, because I can understand getting on a high horse and pointing out things that we all see, because none of us are idiots. But then to do it with a freaking Patreon thing scrolling, I probably got something similar scrolling. But I'm here to hang out with you guys to talk about knives, to talk about sharpening stuff that we're going to do later. And I only bring up drama if it affects somebody in the community directly in a negative way, or in a positive way if it's a good thing. We do like good things to happen, right? We like people's knives to take off. We like people to get their designs picked up, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I am very, very pleased with every single TKL knife I have had and used, and several of them I've forwarded on. Somebody won the Raider. I forget who that was. It's a great knife. We are all idiots, and we're all internet people, right? So opinions are like assholes. I think they're wonderful things. I think they should be. I think if my plane's faster than anybody else's plane in the airport, than all my other planes, it's my right, because it's my platform to talk about it. I think if it's my platform to talk about all the shittiness going on in the different communities, not the community, but the communities bonding against each other, and scream it to your 13 people, that's fine. Whatever. And then to come out with a lecture that had somebody's text there that were all blurred out. You couldn't tell who he was referring to, except you could see the corners of their logo. I don't know who it was, but it was actually pretty funny, and he just wouldn't stand for it. So my point is, if I'm a drama channel, if I'm actively looking to stir the shit, I should have the thickest skin and be the dirtiest ape in the fucking zoo. I should not worry about it. I should not have my butt hurt. I should be able to take it, because I'm in fact stirring the shit. I've got thick skin. I just don't want to stir the shit because it's non-productive. It's not all about what I'm here for. Geo Knife, what is up? good to see you, my friend. Say hey to Geo Knife, a new maker who makes some what I've seen to be really cool. Mr. Eddie, I didn't see the end of the yeah, and everybody's got the right to use their platform for whatever they want to, right? And everybody votes with their eyes or with their fingers if they're clicking. Um, and the funny thing is, Google's a powerful tool. Ironically, after I invited him at any time beyond my live, you can go look at the text. It was in the live stream. It was very pleasant. There was no negativity. My share sale got banned. Have y'all ever had an affiliate relationship like with share sale that has several retailers under it ban you for when I have a bench made? I might have a link from share sale to that bench made. What the world's going on with that? What's up? Kevin Smith and Knives, good to see you. Todd Carr, good to see you, brother. Yeah, what I was saying is tomorrow, you guys look for it because it may be live, probably won't. It'll probably be a video, but I'm going to go to this small knife show because my buddy Driver Defense is going to be there. Let me show it to you. And it's $0 to get in. I talked to Shane about it. He wasn't even that up to speed on it. But just so you know, these knives will be here. If anybody wants to buy one and wants to reach out to me, if you know Dustin Driver or Driver Defense Knives, it looks like these are going to be at the Huntsville show. I've got this knife, which is a splinter. That looks sick. But it's from 9 to 5 tomorrow at the Huntsville JC building, which is a tiny little building. Not tiny, but tables are $35 each. And I guess it costs nothing for an attendee. So I'm going to go by. That's why the live might get moved. Because if I went, I'd want to go about 10 o'clock. So A, I could see Dustin while he still had shirts and stuff in stock. And B, I could get back and maybe do it at 1 or something like that and have some footage. It won't be a lot because it's small. I mean, guys, this is small to where I would never have known it was existing, and I live in this city. Bizarre, but cool, because you never know who else might be there. And somebody reached out today who was talking about going. So if you're in the Huntsville, the Tri-Cities, which would be Florence, Muscle Shoals, Athens, which is not the Tri-Cities, but some of that, if you're in a 45-mile radius, 35-mile radius from Huntsville, and you've wanted a Driver Defense knife, I don't know if he's got any folders that he's taken. Looks, yeah, he's taken one folder. And I can tell you his folders are sick. Very nice stuff he makes. But anyway, so I thought that would be cool to check out tomorrow. I've been very lax on getting to my local knife store and doing a video there of all his Benchmades that he buys that are, I think people like Zach would love to get in touch with this guy. And John, even though he doesn't have a website, the owner, he's been selling to these people for like 30 years. People that are collectors that'll keep a knife for 15 and then come trade it for a new Benchmade. And John's deal is if you don't tear it up, he'll give you what you paid for it. So he gets some really nice knives in. But I said, but even though you don't have a website, if somebody calls you, because he also deals in a lot of estate knives. I know I've talked about him before, but I think he'd be a great resource for a lot of you guys, because you can go look at when he buys a lot, i.e. LOT, because somebody passed away, of Benchmades, like 100 of them that'll come in on a cart. he gets some of the coolest stuff. Very, very cool stuff. So we've got Said Faction tonight. How'd that get up there? That's my and Kyle's gonna be on in a little while, but this is my TS Prof Pioneer that they sent out to me. I bought and used a TS Prof Blitz that I added. But I had a Blitz that I used for 3 years almost. It was a smaller one, but one of the, I guess you'd say, engineering things they learned was the little knob, the little wooden knob that goes on the end wasn't threaded. It was just glued. And when you're sharpening and you're spraying your stones, you get water down in there. And after a while, it pushes out and it'll no longer grip your stone because the spring's pushing against that, depending on the length of your stone. But the Pioneer is there. It's a, and this sounds crazy, but if you think about what it costs to sharpen your knife, I think it's $341. And I don't know what a Work Sharp Pro is, but I can look. And I like Work Sharp. I've had a Work Sharp. I didn't have the Pro, but I can tell you that my Blitz, which was more expensive, I was working at the time. My Blitz was probably $150 more. So this is $299.95. So for $50 more, this is and we'll have to take the stones out of it because this one I think comes with stones. Let's see. This one's $299, and it looks much more stable. It looks like a much more rigid unit, right? And then you can go to TS Prof, and Kyle's got a link. TS Prof US. And the stuff that shipped to me shipped from Nashville, which was kind of close. TS Prof .us. I was just going to see how much different the cost was. So if we went to Pioneer, which is there. So the basic kit with 5 stones is $50 more, and it's all aluminum and metal. I think they're really good systems. I've used one. Like I said, I bought one, used it for years, and then they've sent me one. I'm learning how to use it. I'm not as comfortable with it as I am with my Blitz because I've used it for so long. But it's a cool system. And if you guys are good at sharpening by hand, that is awesome. I don't have really the space to sharpen by hand, nor do I have the dexterity to sharpen by hand, unfortunately. Dr. Drew Dude, Forrest, what's up? Is Forrest in here, or are y'all just talking about Forrest? Pizza Operator, what's up? Kathleen, Miss Smith, channel member, what is up? And Pizza Operator, channel member, what is up? Guys, I will leave. We're going to do something. Forrest, what's up? About either, and I don't want to keep y'all up late tonight. We're going to do our members live. I've got to plan it around this knife show that's happening in Huntsville tomorrow between 9 and 5. It's only like 10 minutes from my house, so it's not that far of a drive. If I do the live at 11, I won't be there till the afternoon. If I do it in the morning, I'll be rushed back. So I'm thinking I may push it till 1 and go at about 10. Knife Nut 69, channel member, what's up? Homer Flea Test, what's up? Channel member. So y'all bear with me. I'll put something up tonight, and we will make a play. I wish I had the knife that will air tomorrow, just kind of as a overview. It was my buddy A to Z's knife. He came by here right before I went live, and Stevie, I know, would appreciate it. Stevie, you like J Capes, don't you? Something I've seen company J Capes. Weren't it one time you a big J Cape guy? talk to me, brother, but if you were, this is one that came from klingenreich.de, which it's a German retailer that carries something obscene. It was one of their signature exclusives, and it was titanium with rich light. Dude, was that not beautiful? It wasn't mine. It was my friend A to Z, and that slacker came by and got it before my live. But I do have a video coming out just showing it off tomorrow, which is all I did. It's 20 CV. The rich light, which I've never been a fan of, is next level kind of mesmerizing. I found it very cool. And I don't know what the conversion rate was, but they are, let me go to their website. Klingenwerk. It's almost like Kyle. It really is. It's very much, except it's Reich. Kling, LNG work. Killing Reich. Yeah, they go the Reich instead of the works. Let's see if that pulls it up. It may not. All right, it didn't. I'm not going to look for it because that'll just take me way too much time. But yeah, check it out. It is Klingen Reich. So, like, if you think of Klingenwerk sharpening service, think of klingenreich.de instead of .com. The Moroni has been a member for 19 months. A Cuvis Vanish and 20 CV for $30. Dude, that is so crazy. And that's such a great deal. And that is one of the best little slippies I've got. Thank you for your support, brother. Big time. And what a great, great deal. I think we talked about that. I've got the bronze tie and the black blade, 20 CV. I love that little knife. It's buried up here with my other slip joints. This last week, I have not carried a slip joint. I would see what it would be like carrying just a fixie and my primary folder. And today, I'm carrying my number one out of my entire collection in terms of what I like to carry, what I like to cut with. It has nothing to do with value, but this knife right here is my OG Liang Ma Field Duty EDC. Needs a little love. I need to take it apart. It's got that monocarbon or mono G10 body. Riot constructed L Max. Super slicey. So I carried that. And this afternoon I carried the TCAL. It came in about 4:00. And before that, this little knife's grown on me. It's an inexpensive USA made Tops called the 3-pointer. I don't like where the jimping is, so I just ignore the jimping. I pretend it's not there because my finger wants to go right here. And if I was a decent knife guy, I'd probably figure out how to mod it. Dude, Knife Nut 69. Greg got him a month. Please don't show that. Dude, I've got to show it when it pops up. And not only that, I've got to show you guys love. I appreciate it. You don't know how much it means to me. So I won't blow a kazoo. I won't do other stuff. I won't do this. I won't give you anything that's heat, but I will have to give you recognition because I do honestly appreciate it. It means everything. Challenge if I put it back together, it's a completely different knife. I've got a knife that was sent to me to give away, and it's going to be a giveaway. And it's got a late lockup. It's a Boker, and I know I can fix it. And I've just not filmed myself taking it apart yet and putting it back together. I'll actually show you the knife. It's very cool. Y'all sit tight. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. It's literally on the back side of this table, but I do have to unhook from some shit. So give me just a sec. Did y'all hear me slamming around? I didn't mute the mic. But anyway, this is a Boker Air Quaken, which, to be honest with you, reminds me of the first knife, one of the first 5 knives I had in my collection, the CEO. A fantastic little knife. And this one is in red micarta. It's a flipper only, and it's got a very stiff detent. You've got to be back on that clip. And what you'll notice is, whoops. See, I missed it twice. Go back. See how late that lockup is? But all I have to do is touch it, and it goes right back to where it's supposed to be. So I think it just needs a little adjustment. I need to take it apart. I need to give it a little bendy, because if you're not holding it just right, it is a finger shredder. And this is a sweet poker knife. And I don't want to give it away late. What is up, Zach Stuff? Good to see you, brother. I don't want to give it away locking up late, even though it's super strong. I want to fix it first because I know I can, or think I can, because it's steel. And the gentleman that donated it wanted it to get fixed before it was given away, as I can understand. So that is the plan. Burt Relic, what is up, buddy? If you look over my left shoulder and you see Brother Jason Brown's memorial, what I would call artistic representation of his, to me, his being in a nice piece of wood. I really like it. I think he does great work. I know he's done other images too, but check out Burnt Relic. And Burnt Relic, share your link while you're out there. I'm juggling stuff over here, and I've got just a buzz going on. I apologize. Dude, don't give up on it. Like I said, you don't have to do a lot to do. You don't have to push to get it going at all. It's stuff that is, like I said, it's a very unique market, and it's beautiful work. And again, things don't go fast. I can assure you, if things go too fast, something's wrong in a lot of cases. I won't call out any names, but I'm not going to get negative. Nothing, not to do with anybody here. I'm going to pound back these lemonade seltzers. There you go. Beautiful work. And I know it gets frustrating, dude. Dude, it's all about timing and that person connecting with that piece. Talk to Brother Pocket Metal about when hopefully he'll join us tonight, about art and the market and people and just the whole 9 yards. It's a crazy time right now too, on top of everything else. That makes it tough. That's coming from somebody who doesn't work, who hasn't worked a real job in going on a year, dude. And I was like corporate America for the last 16, 17 years. So it's been a huge shift, and I'm at that age to where I think I've held myself back, but at the same time, just like, fuck it, I'm just not going that route anymore. But I've got to figure out some kind of game, some kind of digital marketing game to help people do stuff that I'm doing it on my own, and I have not done that yet. So I feel you, dude. Times are shitty, but we have a great time hanging out. We got a lot of stuff going on. Should have a guest or two stop by. We got Edgy American in the house. Hopefully he hadn't cut himself in the last couple of hours. I know he was sharpening a knife, making things happen. Howdy, Edgy. Good to see you, brother. I know you're not where you can be, but I will go over here and shoot you a link in case you got anything that you want to show off. Whoops, I went to the wrong button. And if I exit out of here, I'll be right back. Sometimes I do that too. I hit the wrong button, and next thing you know, boom, I'm out. but one day I'll get good. Not good. One day I'll get competent. Dude, that looks sick on your page. I don't know if you have that in your possession or if you've already sent it out. And I'm talking about, I think that's a thug. What was that? Yeah. Crewwear 65 thug. Whatever that handle is sick. Edgy's making some great knives. A lot of you guys are making great knives. There's some manufacturers making some great knives. Nice Edge, I would be happy to come in anytime, dude. You can ask me hard-hitting questions about anything. I have no secrets, and I have no reason at my age to dodge any hard-hitting questions. So you can come at it with me any single time. Dude, I will. I'll go live with him tomorrow. Well, tomorrow morning I am going to the show, but I know he goes early. I will always go live. I'm not opposed to that at all. And I can tone it down. I've tried to tone it down. I haven't felt comfortable enough to take away the parental advisory lyric because I do have guests and I never know when I'm going to let something slip out because I'll let something slip out earlier and I don't ever want somebody to feel, oh man, still dies the question. Did I miss the question, Edgy? Hold on. Let me find it. Did I miss a question? Am I dodging a question? Because I'm not seeing it, but I'm slow. I want to have you in my life someday. It's a hard hitting questions like blondes or brunettes. In my most recent life, it is absolutely brunettes, but there have been so many blondes. I would not give any reason to not say one or the other. They're both wonderful. What is up, Kyle Coonley? Can you hear me? I don't hear Kyle. He's got a great picture. I've got to figure out how to get that kind of picture. But I have no audio for poor Kyle. I'll make my thing go away because it sucks and Kyle's looks good. I can't hear you, brother. You might have to pop out and come back in. I've got Derek, for real, what is up? Richard Hopkins, what is up, brother? Good evening and happy Friday to you. Eddie, I was so proud of Eddie tonight. Dude, it's me. It's not a trap. I can be trapped. I can hear you. Did you just say something? Kyle Coonley, I thought I heard you for a second. My feet is absolutely nothing. And I don't know a lot because I kind of keep to myself. But I love to be pressed because a lot of times I don't realize when I'm being cringy, I want to know it because I don't want to be cringy. So I'm always open for good, constructive, hard hitting stuff. I'm bad about comments. That's my Achilles heel. And I don't do a lot of my own, even my own Discord, which is kind of just sits there. I want to be able to use it to patch in, and I haven't done anything towards that, so I could patch in calls. I've just been a slacker creator, guys. I throw myself at your mercy and say, I try each day, you know, but you do what you can do. Kyle, can you speak up, brother? Can we hear you yet? He's going through his settings. I can watch him feverishly work his right hand. Did y'all see that? That's what you call a problem solver. Ooh. I've never spent time with an Umnazon. I love my Plague Doctor. However, the McNeese 3.5, depending on what kind of knives you like, Edge, it is so smooth. I've run mine both on skiff thick washers just for an experiment, and it ran much better than my Spartan did because it's a much bigger knife. but the McNeese 3.5 I think is it's a forever knife for me. I love it, but I don't think you can go bad with any of those. I just think there's something really special about this knife. And they're made right here in my home state. So, and Stevie, I used to be, I've got to get back. I get so overwhelmed with stuff. I mean, it's my brain. It's not that I'm trying to be a non-social dude. It's just that I never know what's coming and what's going and where I'm going or coming from. It's a personal flaw. I think it's time, because this is number 2. Delicious. And I know they sell them where you guys are, because earlier this week I went to the little Star Market, our little like local kind of farmers market, and they had several local Delta THC whatever's, and I'm in Alabama, the worst state ever for stuff like that. It's not that I just want to connect. I like connecting with people, and I just find it. I don't want to be that guy who seems like he's just there for whatever reason. He doesn't ever communicate back to us. That's why what I do, and y'all are all welcome. I won't always be that responsive, but I'll give you my phone number because I don't even get an Instagram that much. I'll post stuff there. Hey, Tip. But I don't go in there. Abner Taylor, he's alive. Dude, I've got so much, and I know that's why you blocked me. I have so much to drop on you music-wise. Good to see you, Ab Taylor. That is my best man from my failed wedding. But he did try to drive me away from it, in fairness to him, because he knew. EDC with BDC, DBC, DVD, what's up? I can't even talk. Good to see you, Abner Taylor. I'm reaching out to you later, dude. I've got some sick stuff to show to you. All right, let's see if Kyle's got his vocals back.
Can you hear me okay now?
Like a champ.
Perfect.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I don't know what the heck was going on, but now we got it working, so we're good.
You are working good. Now, I've got some things for kind of us to talk about, but to kind of talk about with the group. And I thought you had a really good idea of kind of not a presentation, because that sounds too schooly, but
Well,
just
I mean,
maybe just some, and I can share it on screen if you want to go through it, or you can just kind of talk through it. I've got a copy of it in my lap. You probably do as well.
we can do whatever. I think probably the easiest way will be once we get into that. I mean, we don't have to do it right this second, but once we get into that, we can, if you want to share it on screen, it's probably easier to follow along with people.
Yes, I agree.
But we can talk about it going forward from that. So what I basically wanted to do was just start from the very scratch, from the very beginning of, if you're interested in knives, you have knives, and you want to maintain them, where do you start? How do you get to the point where you can make your knives sharp, and what do I need to do that? So that's kind of what I created, was just a basic crash course in that. And then at the end, I'll explain some of my thoughts and what I'm thinking about doing going forward. But I need feedback from the community on that. So that's basically all I got. But if you have anything else prior to going into that, John, I'm willing to shoot the breeze.
Yeah. This is selfish, and we can do it. Let's see if I can bring it to the stage. And the lighting's terrible. Can you see that Pioneer?
Yep, I got you.
And it's got the adjustable back there. I've got it up right now, set at about 25.
Okay.
My question is, and I don't have a good picture of it there, so I'm going to take it off the screen, is the thickness compensator, right?
Right.
So the other question, and I know your answer to this, but if I couldn't buy stones right now, and I've got 4-inch veneers, what's the reason not to go down to a 4-inch? I mean, do I use the diamonds to a certain place, or do I just stick with my diamond plates?
I would. You got the box of like 5 or 6 of them, whatever came with.
They're great stones. They just need to
Yeah.
be broken in, just like anything else.
I would say do the first 1 or 2 in the diamonds, and then move your veneers.
And then if you were going to get 3 veneers, not a whole set, or 3 of the if you're going to get individual stones, would you get like a 90 or 150? What ratings would you get to get all 3 covered?
If I was getting stones, I would be buying veneers. I
Okay,
think
but like
there are better options out there now. So what I would do is you would get your first stone is your most important stone. So even if you have to spend some money on that stone, that's the most important stone you'll have in your entire.
And that's going to be your low grit by nature, right?
Correct. Because that's what's going to be doing all your bevel setting, all of your hard lifting. So that's a stone that if you only can purchase one expensive one and you have to cheap out on the other ones, get the good first stone.
Well, I always, just because I have a OCD, I will get a set, whether it's 3 or 5, and I'll add to it. And on my 4 inches, I got more than I needed.
Devon, you can do everything in your arsenal with 3 stones.
Like a 150,
you would get a Poltava silver in 2 1/4, 285, somewhere in that range, and then go into like an alpha stone at 240, and then get a third one at 600, and you'd be done. And if you wanted to go to more polish, you can get the 1500 and go from there. But you really don't.
I could hone with that 640 and that 1 micron.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, you can go straight from that 600, hone with that 600, and then go to your gunny or your gunny juice or your stroppy stuff and be done, and you're good to go.
Because a lot of your honey is just the way that you work it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, just the way that you work the blade.
You got veneers that work, so I'm not saying you have to go out and spend the money to buy new ones. But if you were to go to 6-inch stones, I would definitely, if you're looking for polishing stones, go to the alphas. If you're looking for a cutting stone, go with the Poltava silvers. And I'll show those here in a little bit. We can go through those, but yeah, I mean, if you only wanted to do 3, that would be my best game plan for someone to be 2 1/4, 240, 600 be done.
Does your little thickness compensator on yours there, do you do it on the backside, or does it have a different one?
See, I don't use mine because
you just do your angle set each time.
What ends up happening is, so like most of my stones are the same thickness, so I don't need to adjust from going from stone to stone. So once I get my angle set with my angle cube right here when I first start, right, then I will go to the next stone and then everything's the same. So I'm not switching heights of my stones. If I went from like a thin stone to a thick stone, and I knew that, and I switched down here, I just reset it with my angle gauge. So
right, because it's so easy to use because it kind of mounts on there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's on here, and then just charge it and go that direction. So that's made me. But if I needed to do it individually, what I'd do is my first stone, I would get the angle by mounting here, right, and then I would, whatever this portion is back here. Let me see if I can move this so you can see it. Let me move my keyboard. So right here, this moves up and down.
Right.
I would put that stone in here till it's flat, tighten that down, put my angle guide on here, get the angle, and then if my next stone's thicker, say something like this where it's thicker, all I would do is undo this, raise it up, put it down on there, tighten it down.
And that shouldn't realistically change your angle. That should keep it the
No,
same.
yeah, that's your angle adjustment. Just
Yeah,
by
that's interesting.
so that's the same as on yours. So that's what you
Yeah,
do on yours.
exactly. So Kyle, what does a sharp knife do?
A sharp knife is something that's going to cut whatever media that you are trying to cut without excess force needed.
And what are the benefits of that?
Well, you got a couple of things for that. One, you are not going to slip out of a cut necessarily as easy. You're not going to potentially have to use excess force and then you slide off of that and end up jamming into yourself or something. And a sharp knife, if you do get cut by a sharp knife, yes, it can cut deeper, quicker, but
Oh, but your stitches are so clean. I've got
it
proof.
heals so much faster and it's a clean cut versus if you do get something.
And don't you get an added advantage if you do it right is a longer lasting blade? I mean, depending on what you're using your knife for, everybody's different.
Once you set your bevel correctly, that's the key. It's not just sharpening knife. Once you set the bevel correctly, your edge will last longer because you're actually getting a true V grind on both sides. If you're going for V grind or convex or whatever it is, you're getting a symmetrical grind. So that's your main benefits of a sharp knife.
So if you're just getting started, right, and you're crossing that bridge, and I know that, like I said, I started with the Sharp Maker from Spyderco. Before that, I had a little. It was yellow. I forget it's a pretty
Lansky.
popular. Yeah, maybe it was a Lansky. But it was the 45-degree rods. It was the kind you just did the 90 degrees. And then I did the work sharp. And I messed up more edges than I've gotten really good at. And I'm just starting to feel more comfortable. But I feel like a lot of it's because I just kind of learned through doing it myself, not watching a lot of videos, not having a lot of input. What would you recommend? And I know getting something to sharpen with is important, but
So
that's depending on your comfort level.
let's go ahead and pull up that.
Yep, let me grab it.
Yeah, so I created this to follow along with, and we can kind of discuss what is needed and what you will potentially don't need right away to start with, but would be nice to have eventually. So,
Give me 2 seconds, dude. I had it.
No problem.
I had it right in there. And I'll be darned. And I still haven't heard back from ShareSale. I think that's just bizarre.
From what?
ShareSale is one of the sources I use for like my Blade HQ affiliate links, my Kaiser, a lot of those. And I've evidently been banned.
You need these? Can we send that to you again? It should be.
No, I got it right here. I just have to figure out how to share it with you right now.
Gotcha. No problem. I just was making sure you had it.
Yep, I got it. I just need to pull up right here. Present, share screen. I think I want to go out to window. I don't want to do that. Tell me if y'all can see that full screen. Or are you seeing it at all?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I can see it on there.
Sorry.
No, you're
trying
good.
to get it to fit the screen. I wanted to fit the screen. Do this. Fit visible. Nope. Damn it.
Marco, if you want it, send me a message. I'll send it to you.
Can y'all see that one?
Yeah, but now I got to get my glasses. I can't see that.
I can make it bigger.
A little bit. There we go. Perfect. All right. So I don't have you block Marco. Shut up. Just trying to figure out what we need to actually make a knife sharp. And like all of this hobby, there are so many avenues you can go down, whether that be the hobbyist, the beginner, the avid, the professional, whatever it may be. Picking your path is my theory on it is, yeah, once you get to the point where you know you're enjoying it and you want it, then that's the time to go ahead and buy once, cry once. Prior to that, you can start off slow and test and see if you are even enjoying it enough that you want to continue. Okay.
And a great example is someone like Lefty who did not enjoy it, as opposed to someone like me who finds it therapeutic.
Yeah. So I mean, what I will say is the big thing about it is you own knives. It's a maintenance feature of having knives to be able to sharpen them, keep them sharp. If you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine. You can send it out to someone. You can not use that knife and buy another one. Whatever your heart desires, it doesn't matter. But if you want to maintain those knives, what you need to do is learn the basics. And this is kind of where we're going to start today as far as what do I need to start. So I put it into a couple different categories: essentials, and then also what's optional, what we could possibly need as you go down the line, but we're not going to start that for someone who's brand new. So
You gonna stay on essentials for a sec?
yeah, we're going to be right there.
Okay.
So like, I'm going to pick on Marco because he likes to pick on me. So say Marco wanted to learn how to sharpen. He's never sharpened before. This is what we're going to start with as far as what he needs to get up and running. So one, obviously a knife that needs a new edge or is something that you can practice on so you can get better. I would suggest the wrong answer, what everyone gives you, is go buy a cheap gas station knife and just beat it up and practicing. Wrong. The poor steel that is on those knives make it extremely difficult to learn how to sharpen properly because the burr does not form the same way. They're super soft. There's a multitude of reasons. So what I suggest is getting a budget knife that has a decent steel, decent treat. So whether that be you can't, it's hard to go wrong with 14C. So you can
14C would be I would think a good
yeah,
starter.
you can find a sub $30 14C knife more than likely out there somewhere. You could even get a Ontario Rat in Aus 8. That will be a great steel to practice on. Stay away from D2 to begin with, because if you're buying cheap D2, it's not going to be great. And it's a little more difficult. I would say try to find a budget knife in 14C. There are a ton of them out there. Dedicate the $30 and just use that as your practice knife. And we'll get into why later. So that's the first part. Second one we're going to talk about is obviously having a sturdy work table, because you don't want
I'm not going to interrupt you here, but that
No,
cannot be stressed enough. I will interrupt you because I did this kind of a short, like, video on just the table that I do all my other videos on, and I was
Right.
able to pull it off, but it's not at all. I mean, I took it over to my coffee table, which I'm just going to set up in another room, a small little, but you want to have a sturdy workbench type area because it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, if
And
you're
you
using a
want
card table, it's going to move back and forth. It's not going to be
Well, this is even a dining room table that's just kind of chintzy, so it's not
right.
that bad. It's not what I've got it sitting on now, but it still was just like, whoa.
I will say this though, there are ways around. You can improvise everything. So if that's all you have is a cheap card table to set up, right? find something to weigh the legs down to keep stability so it doesn't rack, it doesn't move on you. I
Good
mean,
point.
whether you can, get sandbags, you can get whatever you need. Just make sure that when you're on top of your table, and if you were to go like this with your hands and push it, it's not going to just completely fall over. Okay.
And what I've learned is if you're using a fixed angle system, I think it'd be harder on freehand stones, but if you get a good grip on your system and kind of know where you are and don't put too much pressure and let your stones do the work, you're not going to run into a ton of problems, but you're definitely run into some.
It depends, because there are certain scenarios where I will bear down, and having that stability makes all the difference in the world.
Oh
So,
yeah, without a doubt.
The next one that people don't talk about is lighting. Lighting is not just for videos and all that kind of stuff. Lighting is super important because you need to be able to see what you're doing. Having just a single overhead light in your room or having a lamp next to your desk is not enough.
No.
Even with good eyesight, which I had 20/20 until very recently, it makes it difficult. So getting a portable light, this is something that something like this is a cheap little, I think these are like 20-30 bucks tops. It's a little light, rechargeable light that you can hold
Put it on
above
a
it.
tripod or put it on
Yeah,
something.
you can put it on tripod if you want to. If you want to spend the money to just get a little small tabletop tripod, or just even hold it while you're checking things. But that'll give you a lot more light quickly to be able to see what you're doing and be able to see the process. And we'll get into the reason why that later. Next up would be obviously our stones we need to start with. Whether that be one or set or whatever it is, if you're going to start off, you don't necessarily need to go buy the entire full set like what they sell them as, right? Because that investment more than likely will not be returned. If you don't like it and you want to get rid of them, you're not going to get your money back. So start slow, and then if you decide you like it, then you can go in deep and spend more money to get what you like. So what I would suggest, obviously, for say you're going to start with and this depends on whether you're doing a system or freehand, right? So if you're doing a system, obviously that's an investment, and that can be a little costly up front, but you could even start with something inexpensive. I think the basic work sharps, anything like that, and they have stones built in, right? Or if you wanted to go
Yeah, they're
freehand,
about $100, and then if you buy some stones, but I'll tell you, as someone who's spent like I think 99 or 119 on my first Spyderco, and then I spent on my work sharp. Had I just jumped and saved up like I did with knives after a while and bought something, whether it was just something a little better that was, Hapstone, TS Prof, something that was going to be something that was going to make it easy, A, for me to replicate what people that are much better at doing it can do, and B, make it more likely to me enjoying the hobby.
yeah. So here's like,
That would be my advice.
as a kind of a spin-off of this, to get started, I'm never going to tell someone that they need a TS Prof. Will it make your life tremendously easier? Absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the only way you can get a knife sharp, right?
And
So what I will say is, so picking that first stone, right? If you're going to do a system or freehand, I would suggest more of a medium to low grit stone. That way it's something that you can be able to set your bevels with, but it's not going to be a polishing stone because you don't need to go all the way up through theirs. So if you're doing something like a fixed angle system, you could do something in that 240 to 400 range, right? If you're doing freehand, I would suggest something similar, that 240 to 400 range. This is a very good option for people starting out because it's It's a great stone, but it is inexpensive. These are the Shapton Pros.
Those are bench stones, right?
Correct. This is 8x3. This would be something probably in the $40 to $45 price point. That would be, you could be a one stone and done just to practice with, right? So, and they come in a case. But what I would suggest, if you go into bench stones, is to spend the $20 if you want to go that route and get a stone holder. So that way you have better control over your stone, right? And this is adjustable, so you can use this even with stones that'll fit the systems if you like to freehand. If you're not sure what you want, again, reach out and I'm more than willing to help you figure out what investment makes sense for you. But again, you need a stone to start with. And then we're going to say, again,
MPG EDC.
Medium to low, just to get you going, to see if you like it, right? So
you think 240 would be the first stone?
240.
Like I was
Yeah.
recommended like a Tomy like at 150, but I was reprofiling at the time.
Right. So what I'm saying is, yes, eventually you want one lower than that, and eventually you want one higher than that. But the issue is, if you just get
and try to match your bevels and get good at maintaining and sharpening your knives.
Yeah, if you get to the point where your first stone would be super low, then you're not going to get the hang of it. But if you go too high, then you're going to be there forever, and you're going to get frustrated. You're not going to create a burr. So get something in that medium low grit just to practice on, right?
Right.
And if you're not comfortable with doing freehand, then you can get into a system kind of reasonably cheap. And just know that say you buy a work sharp for whatever, $100, you're probably going to sell it. You're probably going to sell it for 50 to 60. And you might even try to find one secondhand just to.
And what I did was
I
bought one, and then I spent like $19 on arm, and then I spent like $80 on Venise. So I was an idiot.
Yeah, just don't go into it deep at first. So that's that.
But it can be an addiction. I'm warning y'all, like knives.
And the next thing would be a strop or something that you can use as a strop, right? Meaning that could be a strop like this, but you can just get a piece of wood, glue some leather onto it, and you've got a strop. Or this is oak on a plate, and they sell these for, I don't know, $10-15, somewhere in that range.
So that's oak instead of balsa wood, but that's a wood instead of a leather is what you're saying.
You got leather here. This is a thicker horsehide. Then this is kangaroo. So you different reasons going down. You can even use an old belt. Anything that you can use a piece of cardboard. There are multiple ways that you can create a strop, but the point is you just need something that you can use as a strop. Okay. So, and all of the getting into the weeds of what types, all that kind of stuff doesn't matter right this minute, but just having something as a strop. All right. Next up.
Do you think you can do a naked strop?
What's that?
A naked strop, or you think that you should?
No. Yeah. Just right now, it's something as a strop that you can use as a strop. All right. Supplies. These are things that you probably have around the house already, but it is something that will make your life easy. I should say. Microfiber towel. And what we're going to use that for is to wipe off the blade and the stone as we're using them, right? To keep those clean so we're not making messes. A Sharpie, so we can use the Sharpie trick so we can find our angles. Some type of tape. Captain tape works great. You don't have to buy the specialty tape. You can use painter's tape. but it doesn't work as well. It's just a matter of what you want to spend or not spend.
Captain
Um,
with a K, by the way.
correct. Rubbing alcohol, again, to clean off the Sharpie and anything else that you've got that you need. If you need to clean the blade off with, rubbing alcohol works great. And the solution, if you're going to use stones with water, if you're not using a diamond, I probably would recommend your first stone just getting either a plain diamond stone and to be done with it. But if you are, then just getting
there.
Do what?
Plain diamond plate. On a plain diamond plate, would you use them dry?
If it's just plain diamonds, yes.
This is plain diamond plate like a TS Prof set.
Yes, I use those dry.
Okay. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, you're kind of breaking up. I can barely. You can hear me okay?
Jumping around.
No, you're just real crackly. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. So for your solution, if you were to go that direction, just get a spray bottle, water bottle, and the easiest way to start with would be just soap and water and be done with it. I use different things, but beginning with, all you need is soap and water. Okay. So that's your start. Next up is what I think is probably one of the most vital ones of all this is just getting a small notebook. You don't necessarily need anything fancy. It can be just a plain notebook, be able to take your notes into it. And the reason why is it's going to help us problem solve and log all of the information that we are doing so we can get better going forward. All right. And we'll talk about that deeper as we go. So optional things that would be very beneficial going forward would be if you enjoy it and you want to keep doing this, would be a loop, something like this, magnified loop with a light. That is important, having a light so you can see what you're doing. Again, these aren't too expensive, $10, $15, somewhere in that range. Is what it is.
And you can get them at the sharpening places or even on Amazon.
Yeah, you can snag one on Amazon.
Hey, Kyle, if you were going to use the light you already had for your edges, could you get just one of those regular magnifying glasses if you had one? Or would it be better to go ahead and get a loop? Like if you've got the light, if you're going to have a well-lit area.
I like these lights for general overall looking at the edge. If I'm just looking at it this way, I have a light like this, but I like the loop.
You like the directness of the loop, yeah.
Correct.
And those are $6 to like $19 if you want a bougie one.
The only thing I will say on this is when you buy these on Amazon, figure out what batteries you use and buy extra batteries because it eats through batteries quick. All right. So next up would be obviously if we're going to get into it more stones for different reasons, whether that be trying to figure out exactly the best type of stone we want to use, getting the ultimate ones, getting, narrow ones for doing recurves, getting polishing stones if we want to get into anything fancy. There's all types of reasons for that. Then extra strops with emulsions, getting diamond emulsions. The two emulsions I recommend, stroppy stuff and gunny juice. The only two that I found that actually work with a darn. So an extra strop, you don't want to put different emulsions on your strops. So I wouldn't want to take this strop that's got 3, and then when I'm done with 3, put 1 on it. You need to keep your leather or whatever medium you're using separate. So that's why it's good to have multiple ones. Not that you need a ton, 2 maybe, tops 3.
Kyle Dillon.
If you're using a system, having different types of clamps and add-ons can make a huge difference. Again, these are all optional things that are down the road you don't need to start with. It just makes life easier if you get into it more as an avid person. Then another one would be a angle finder. You don't have to have one that's built in like this. You can get one for, again, 10, 15, 20 bucks tops that just sits on your system, or you can even spend about the same amount of money and get little cards that come for certain angles that you can put on your bench stone that you can practice with to keep the angle. Those are
me
good.
tell you a trick that I used to do on my work Sharp. I use my iPhone.
You can't.
I know it's not great. But I would zero it out and I would get within, a red cunt hair of it.
Yeah, so that's an option. But if now we're looking into the optionals, this is where you're becoming a little more avid. So you could probably splurge and spend the 15 bucks to 20 bucks to get one.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Next would be tools this similar if you need to. So sometimes, like on a system, depending upon the angle and how the plunge is with the scale, you may not be able to reach the heel of the knife completely with the blade in the handle. So you would need to be able to disassemble a knife. So correct tools, having good bits, having a decent driver, all of that. Next up, synthetic work mat. You don't need any branded ones. You don't need anything special. Just having a silicone or synthetic work mat makes things easier, because if you're getting water, anything splashes, you're not getting on your table or your work area. Again, not the most expensive.
Dust and
20 bucks. Yeah, I mean, 20 to 40 bucks depends on what you're getting. And these are, again, this is more of the hobbyist optional. All right. A way to clean your stones as you start going forward. When you're first beginning, you're not going to be spending so much time that you're going to be having to worry about this. But as you progress, you will need to clean your stones. A couple of different ways. One, we're talking chemicals. Barkeeper's friend in a powder form. You wet your stone down. You sprinkle some of the powder on your stone. You rub it in with your finger, get a hard nylon brush, and you scrub it. Then you wash it off completely, and that will absolutely clean your stones phenomenally.
I use that.
You can use Nagura stone in a bucket of water, like we've showed before on here, to clean the residue as we're moving forward. If we need to flatten,
can you do that on a diamond plate too, or just on a embedded stone?
You can, but the Naguras are more of the Naguras are more of a cleaning process, not a flattening process. The diamonds would be more for flattening.
Right.
Next up would be glass and abrasive to be able to flatten them. If you're going to do that, the best bet, don't go on Amazon and look at all that, because they overcharge. You can go get a piece of glass similar to this from your local window door supplier. They will cut you a thick tempered piece of glass like this. I think this is a 10 by 12, and this cost me like $14 or something like that. And it's way better than anything you're going to get on Amazon. What
and
you
do you buy
is,
just the silicone powders?
Yes. So what you do is you'll buy I'll show you in a second. You'll buy the abrasive, sprinkle a little bit on here, spread it out in the middle so it's kind of like a volcano. Pour a little bit of water in there, mix it up. Then you take your stone, put it on top of that solution, make figure eights, and then go back the opposite direction, and you'll be able to flatten your stones if they start getting untrue.
And I went the capitalist way, and I bought one from Blade HQ that only came with one grit of that ammonium oxide or whatever, and they told you to mix. They said mix 1 capful of that with 1 capful of water, equal parts, and then take a mechanical pencil and real lightly draw a hatch mark on your bonded stones.
Yep.
And then rub them till it was gone.
Yeah, so this is silicone carbide. This is just 120. It works great. Yes, and you are prior to rubbing on there, you are going to want to create hash marks on your stone with a pencil, just to be able to show that everything is getting hit, so it's completely flat. Infinity symbols work just as well, Dawson. That's cool too.
And the glass makes all the difference in the world that you're laying on.
Yeah, you want something
flat.
that's completely true, and that's going to be your closest bet for the decent amount of money. You could go get a piece of granite, but that's ridiculous. You don't need that. So,
And I'm sure Kyle probably flattens his a lot more than I flatten mine because I'm only sharpening my personal knives, as I am wanting to sharpen something.
so maintenance wise, this is kind of my general maintenance schedule. I will clean them as I go, as needed, while I'm sharpening. About every 10 knives or so, I will actually take them in there and scrub them with the brush and barkeeper's friend, kind of clean them a little harder. And then probably every 30 to 40 knives, I will actually flatten them. So that's kind of the process that is. I don't think you need to be going any more aggressive than that. And they could even last longer than that. But that's how I keep my schedule, and I've never had an issue. So, sorry, I just kept trying to run through these so we can get to the rest of it. Next up is a digital microscope. Again, not needed. These are luxury items. They're about 40 to $50. They work Bluetooth.
I was on Amazon. They're about 35 for the one you showed me.
Okay.
I mean, it might not be as good of a one,
but these will connect to your phone via Bluetooth, so you can have your phone set up next to you, run this over the blade, and it'll project a picture onto your phone. And I think this one goes from 50 to 1000x, so you can get super close-ups if you need to be able to check what you're doing. Good for people with bad eyesight, good for people who want to get nerdy about it. So,
well, like you're getting in this next step here, whereas I think you really ought to expand on.
Yeah, so I mean, and the last thing is, if you're going to take this into a business, there's so much that you need to invest into that you're not going to learn right out the bat, and people aren't going to tell you. And that's something that I'm willing to share with anyone, what I've done and how I've grown things. But spending the time to your marketing, your logistics, your packaging, your supplies to be able to mail things with, as far as your bubble wrap, your getting the correct pictures and being able to post those. All these things make a huge difference. Your emails.
What I was thinking of more, Kyle, is when did you go from a hobbyist to thinking?
I can barely hear you, Javon. Your mic's crackling in and out.
So let me try to get it fixed. There's no telling. Can you hear better now?
No, it sounds like you're on speed and then it goes in and out.
All right. Let me try something. Let me bounce out and bounce it.
Guys, if you have any questions, I mean, serious ones, obviously, not joking around, but if you have questions, hang on to them, and I'm going to take them all at the end when I'm done here. It won't be much longer.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound much better now.
Sorry about that, dude. There's no telling.
No, it's okay. It just started crackling and then going in and out. So, we were on number 10.
Yeah, let me pull it back up because it quit sharing probably when I dropped it off.
No problem.
Man, it closed it on me. What a son of a bitch. Does it tell me if it starts getting crackly when I start using Adobe, because it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
All right, now we're using Adobe.
Okay, we're good now.
I'm gonna go to the next page.
Yep.
Did you have a question on that? What I was saying is, you went from a place that I know there were situations where people weren't able to keep up with their demand, but you went from being a hobbyist to thinking I can do this as well as anybody else. And I think just to share with people that you started as a hobbyist, and just by doing the things that you kind of laid out, you not only build up the confidence, but the skill set, right? I mean, this isn't something you've done your whole life, or am I missing something there?
No, yeah, I went from 0 to 60 super fast.
Because you put your time into it, like you told
Correct.
me. That's something you focused
And
on.
my first introduction to the YouTube knife community was I was Googling how to sharpen a knife because I was trying to figure out why can't I get my knives sharp. And all I had was a generic little, it wasn't even a workshop, it was like a knockoff workshop. And I wanted to buy a system of some sort to be able to get some knife sharpening because I didn't have any good knives, but I had, I had a couple Kershaws, a couple, whatevers. And it interests me. So I found Jared's videos and started going through his playlist of sharpening stuff. Then I ended up buying a work sharp. It wasn't the field guide. It was the one that actually will rock. You sit on the table and it'll rock.
I like that one. The one that's like a bench stone that has a little
Correct.
bit of like, it'll go with your natural
Correct.
pushing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought that, sharpened probably 10, 15 knives on it. Decided that I really like sharpening, but I didn't like that one. That wasn't for me. And at that point, I was going into his live streams at that point and asking questions and learning. And I kind of said, oh, well, I think I might spend the money to get a system, but I wasn't real sure if I wanted to drop coin, right?
Right.
So I was talking with a family member and they're like, if you want to do this, then we'll put in half on it for you. I mean, I could have bought it, but that's not the point. It was that they were trying to reassure me that
Yeah, they were giving you the
just go for it.
confidence.
Yeah, just go for it. So I ended up spending the money, bought a TS Prof Cadet and some stone and Veneves at the time. And I want just, buy once, cry once, and really dug in, studying, learning, practicing, doing a lot of local buddy stuff, neighbor stuff, anybody I could just to get confidence and grow with it. Then I bought obviously some bench stones, worked through that. And at that point I was like, I think I'm decent enough at this that I could actually probably do it for people. And I sent a knife actually sent one of my knives that I worked on to Jared. We did a video call and was basically like, hey, this is what I'm capable of currently. This is kind of what I've learned. This is kind of where my philosophy is at going forward. What do you think? He was cool with things. He gave me the green light. He thought I was doing fine. He said, I think you're in a spot where you could be doing it. And I moved forward at that point. Then I started taking things even more serious at that point, and I really kind of dug my heels in as far as researching, practicing, studying, trying to figure out new techniques.
But wouldn't you say that anyone who found that passion would have the resources available like you did through YouTube,
Yeah,
through the relationship?
there's a lot of good stuff out there, but it's less now than there used to be, I think. But just because I don't think as much of it's happening. I know Jared's starting to do some more sharpening videos, but there for a while he wasn't doing too many. He was doing more reviews, and that's whatever works for him is great. But there wasn't as much. There used to be more consistent, not just him, but other people doing sharpening content. So it's not as prevalent recently.
Dude, that's your calling.
And we'll talk about that. I don't necessarily want to do the whole YouTube thing. No, I don't mind teaching because so in my past life, I don't know, a lot of people know about what my career was, but that was one of the things I enjoyed was instruction. Um, I was, I won't get into it, but that was so. Yeah, that's a passion of mine is being able to take information, whether how complex that may be, break it down to layman's terms, and learn how someone else learns to be able to get through to them, and they can gather the information and make it their own.
Yeah, we'll talk offline, dude. I could see how you could multi-level layer that however you wanted to.
So that's where I kind of grew from that. And then I just, like I said, I just went gung ho and started, practicing. And then I got kind of had a couple of really good clients that trusted me with some stuff, and then it just kind of spiraled. And I was like, okay. And then I kind of became known for challenging stuff. Then I became. I mean, there's obviously the joke with Stevie and that whole crew about surprisingly professional and all that stuff, but that's truly how I treat this as far as business wise. I treat it as a concierge service, and I know that sounds weird, but I want someone to enjoy the experience and the service of what I'm doing. People can sharpen knives. Are there people out there that can sharpen as well as me? Yeah, I'm sure there are. But I also want it to be a
A
pleasurable.
personal experience.
Correct. And that's why I spend the time with, again, going back to what I was saying earlier about communication, making sure that person is getting exactly what they want. Sometimes they just say, hey, I know what you do. I trust you. Use your judgment and go for it. But I offer, hey, what type of edge do you want? Do you want different finishes on there? Do you want different angles on there? What's the use case for this knife? So that way that person gets exactly what they need. And then obviously, I try to make things smooth for them as far as my spec sheets and invoice pricing. So that way they know and they can keep record going forward where their knives are, what they, were sharpened at. So that way they have to reference that at a later point to resharpen them, whether that's me or themselves or whoever else, then they have that. Just the little touches that I think can separate
Well, that's the biggest
myself from someone
challenge for
else.
a lot of people is knowing what the angle was set at. And I know you don't end the sentence with a preposition, but fuck it. If you know what it's set, if I know what it's set at, I'm gonna have a lot easier time finding and maintaining that angle than if I'm just shooting from the hip because I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
Well, I mean, no, it's just having information is never a bad thing.
No, I think it's very important. And you send I mean, I could let you tell, but like when you sent A to Z and me our knives back, it was like, everything that we would want to ever know.
Yes, I mean that is 100% what I do for every single person that comes through out there is they get a spec sheet with everything I've done to their knives as far as angle, degree, working finish, grit. They get what was that? Hang on, I'll answer that in a second. I get and I send it in a PDF form so that way they can have it and keep it for the records, and that way everybody can use it, whatever else. All right, Drew. Would I rather dang, that's a good question because
I can answer that easily.
he just picked two of my go-tos.
Who would
Oh
you rather hang out with, dude? And just say, dude, tell me really what was ambient crazy sex like?
no, I haven't met him, so the I've never met Ray though. Damn, wow, that is a super tough one.
You stumped him, Drew. I don't think I've ever seen Kyle be stumped.
Obviously, I think the second one would be more laid back and probably easier.
What if Ray Laconico is a scratch golfer and he just fucking embarrasses you?
I
Would you
wouldn't
be
worry.
able to take that knowing that if Tiger was probably not a good sharpener. Ray might be not a better than you, but he may be a very able golfer.
I'm not worried
Zach
about that.
Stuff
I mean,
gifted somebody a membership. Thank you, Zach.
I've
Who
taught
got
tour.
the membership?
There's not that.
Zach Stuff was gifted a membership by Zach Stuff. Zach, you're such a champ.
That's hilarious.
Let me show Zach some real quick man love.
Yep.
Thank you, brother. I've been on Amazon looking at all the different kazoos, and holy shit, you could be a kazoo player like a harmonica player and get one in every key, get one, and it's wild.
All right, my final answer for Drew would be Ray.
I like that. You're going with your actual you're not like me going with just the cheesy tabloidy. I'd rather hang out with Tiger because I think he's more deviant.
Well, it's not even that. It's, I mean,
Well, for me it is. That's what I'm saying. You're a better person than me.
no, I think it's just I would enjoy teaching something like that to a non. I don't know how to phrase that. I don't know. I just pick Ray.
Well, what if Tiger
We'll leave it there.
is like what's his name? Jason Aquaman, and he's really a knife guy, and he has the same passion to learn sharpening as Ray Laconico has to learn golf. You're not talking about somebody who's just doing it to do it. They're really wanting to know because I have a $200,000-$300,000 collection.
Yeah, that would be different. But at that point, I'd just tell them, don't bother. Just let me do them. Honestly,
You capitalist.
no, I just, you know,
I know. I'm kidding, dude.
What's
Jason's last name? Because
Momoa.
he's on YouTube. YouTube. He's on YouTube, you know.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah. But he goes by something else. I've seen him in comment
Yeah.
sections. He goes by like something wilderness weirdo or something.
I don't know. All right. Well, enough about me. Let's go back to where we were.
We are. You tell me when you want me to scroll because you're how
Go-
you start.
Go ahead. Yeah, go back. I'm sorry. We were right there. So how do you start?
Okay, so you want me to go right there?
Yeah. So obviously, just try. Like it says, it's not going to go well, and you have to expect that. If you go in with grandiose ideas, the first time's going to be perfect, and I'm not going to have any speed bumps because I've
Smile
watched.
through the pain. Smile through the pain.
Yeah, just because you've watched 4 or 5, 10, 15 videos that you think you can do it, it's more than just that. It's you actually have to do it. So just get over that hump and do it. And that's why I said get that first decent steel but budget knife that you can mess up. But here's the thing, you can go back and fix it. And that's where we get into it. The notebook is because if you track what you're doing, meaning that you're writing down, you know, your angles, you're writing down what you know, the process of what you did, and then you figure out what's wrong with it, write that what's wrong with it down in that notebook and figure out, hey, I got to go back to the beginning, go back to my basics. What would cause this? And problem solve. That's what will take you from where, like I said, when I went from 0 to 60 is practice and getting in there and learning, you know, having the knowledge from people that have taught you before, but being able to also problem solve. That's how you get better at anything in life.
When you talk in generalities about problem solving, are you talking basic geometry where you're looking at edges and where you've made, or what when you say problem
I'm looking at analytically. So if you go in there and, hey, I did this knife at this degree, this angle, whatever else, but I can't get the knife sharp, or it's still catching. It's not being able to cut cleanly, or taking that and going back and going, okay, fine, let's go back to the very beginning. What would cause that? Why would I not be able to cut cleanly? Well, that means you've got a burr. Why would I have a burr? Did I not remove it from sharpening? Did I only get it to a certain point and then not get the other side burr? Did I not strop it? I mean, and you can go through those basics and then start from beginning, resharpen the knife. and say, okay, fine. I'm going to make sure that each time I go from side to side, I'm getting a bird. Then I'm going to make sure at the end I hone it correctly. Then I'm going to strop it. Then I'm going to check it. Is it better than my last time? If it is, then you can start looking at, I followed the basics, I got better results. And that's what it comes down to. Whether any hobby it is, if you can't get the basics down, you're never going to progress. So,
and it's not for everybody, right? So there's no shame in if you don't fall for it.
correct. Correct. And but that's the thing though, is again, you got to try, you got to learn. But having that notebook there, and then you can write down, hey, this went well for doing X, Y, and Z. Then you can always reference that and say, hey, what would cause me to screw this up? Well, I misstepped here, or I did this. That's that problem solving that I'm generalizing and saying how you want to analyze your results. You look at your results and you go backwards to figure out where you messed up. And you try not to do it again, but you're going to. It's just a matter until you build the habits of getting those basics down, it's going to happen. So that will be the biggest piece of advice I can give somebody is once you start making mistakes, trying to figure out what caused that mistake.
And don't give up, get back on the horse and try to rectify it.
Correct. So that's the general synopsis of how you start. Dig your heels in, mess some stuff up, and try to fix it, and then learn. So, again, it's like, again, we're talking about final thoughts. If you want to try, you should. Put a small investment into it, and if you like it, then you can actually spend more money and get better at it. And if you don't, then you're not out all that much more than a regular knife that you've been buying once every week or every 2 weeks or every month or whatever, right?
Absolutely.
Then same thing, talking about, you're not going to buy a brand new car off the lot and then drive it for 3 years and never get an oil change. You have to maintain your knives. You have to maintain your cars. But once you learn it, you're never going to not have that ability. And
Well,
obviously, unless physically you can't do something different, but that's something that you can take with you, right?
I think that's a big one. And you've always got people, if it's outside of your capabilities, to reach out to, but to just be able to do it on the basics for yourself is just a good thing.
Right. And then the last one I have, this is something I've been thinking about recently, and I wanted to get, obviously, the crowd's advice on this. I'm thinking about putting together a paid online class where it's like a one-time purchase, and I'll create all these presentations like I'm doing tonight on different topics that will all be available in this course. And then if you wanted to do one-on-one sharpening, we can do like an hourly rate where we can get on a FaceTime call, a Zoom call, whatever works for you, and work through the process of what you're struggling with and how to get better. And I don't know.
Yeah. Are you talking about doing like a Patreon where you do all your content behind it, where it's like, or are you looking about doing a website?
No, I was thinking more along the lines of I would be creating like the PDFs like I'm doing now for presentations and putting those all together, basically like a book, selling that as the online
like
class.
E-book.
Correct. And if you wanted to do individual one-on-one classes, that could be something that we can discuss as a purchase price, and then we can do that, like I said, on any medium that they want, whether it be FaceTime, Zoom, whatever. And I didn't know if that would be something that people would be interested in. And not that I'm not willing to help people out, because I am. I'm always willing to give advice. That's not what I'm saying. But when I'm doing these presentations like this, I'm putting a decent amount of time and putting these together. But this is something that you can always save and keep and put into your notebook. You could have it like a folder, literally, and print these out, put them in a folder, and always reference them.
Let's think about this. So you could do live, like Jeffrey says, will you remain closed during the Zoom call?
Yes, so, that's not going to be optional unless it's big money.
But they're going to be if you get to a point where you're comfortable doing Zooms and you're comfortable putting this stuff together, you could put together a very without spending a lot of time. I'm not talking about editing, but just a video how to that could live on your own Patreon page.
Well, see,
That
here's
could
the
be
thing. What that makes sense, but what I'm looking at doing, I don't want to make videos just for the sake of making a video. What I want to do is give that person, if they want to spend the money,
one on
the
one.
one-on-one experience, because that's where you gain the most information. Because I can talk to somebody and talk them through it and teach them. That is different than just having a video to someone watch it. They can't interact live and get that feedback.
I
That
feel you.
is vital. So I don't. And again, I don't know if people think that would be anything of value. I think it is, but I don't know what the average
No, Paul
consumer
Mill.
would
I mean,
think.
I think a lot of people. Bimo thinks it's kind of OnlyFans it. I think he digs it. And Kyle, I mean Stevie's like how to sharpen knives good and fuck bitches by a professional Coonley. And then Paul Mills is like, hell yeah, I like that one,
I think he's talking about a knife, but
dude. But I'm thinking that is
I'm
that's
not
what the
trying to
world.
be. I'm not trying to be shilly, and that's why I'm asking questions. But it's more of I don't mind.
It's more of a way for you to structure your thoughts and your content instead of just. I think
Mimo,
I think
Mimo, yes,
you have a
you
process
can go
you could lay out.
right. So here, let me play devil's advocate for this because that's not what I'm trying to do, Mimo. And I'm not trying to step on toes or do. I'm trying to do something different. What I want to do is create a documented library of information and knowledge that you can have at your disposal. That's not in a video format. This is going to be completely like what we did tonight. And then if doing one-on-ones is something totally different, that's not what you're going to get from just watching any YouTube video. I'm sorry
No,
that
you'll have
it's a totally different avenue. I think that those videos are very, very important. And I'm not. That's why I'm not trying to go that direction. I want to do something different.
right. The difference is there you're extrapolating out the little bit of knowledge or the big bit of knowledge you're trying to gain from a video where if you've got a outline that's out there to be consumed and you're willing to take up any individual or larger, kind of hand holding, so to speak, or walking somebody through the specifics, that's a lot more personal.
Well,
And you
yeah,
can
I'm
do it
I'm trying
with
to
a
tailor
platform like
to what that individual needs, not just have a playlist like you said. I mean, the playlists are great. I will tell people to go watch those videos. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if I have a one-on-one with Javon, he's going to get more out of that than he would by just watching a random video. But the difference is that takes time, and time is money.
yeah,
So
and
that's why there's a quandary there. It has nothing to do with being able to just go watch a video. Because yeah, I think those are important too.
they absolutely are, but I can tell you from someone who's got a learning disability, it's harder for me to go consume content and retain it than it is to ask someone directly. That's me personally. I just retain better that way.
Todd, I that's why I'm trying to get feedback. I agree to some extent, but the other part of it is I think I've for the last year and a half, 2 years, I've given all this information away for free to anybody who's ever asked or ever wanted. I don't go solicit and try to sell this because I've given it all away. What I'm trying to do is offer it in a package of format where like we had this entire presentation tonight where I would have, a dozen of these discussing all different topics of sharpening. And from the very beginning, like a book where it would be, I
Like
mean,
a and I'm gonna throw out a random, but kind of like a nice steel nerds, except not metallurgy, but on sharpening. where
Correct.
it's kind of an organic, because equipment changes, different styles change, and just to be kind of, I think, to position yourself as that one-on-one resource, no one's doing that because you're not
Correct.
making product videos too. You're not
Correct.
making this, that, or the other. I think it's very cool.
And the thing about it
Like
is,
personal
like,
guitar lessons. Exactly, Mimo. Like you can go to Let's Play All and you can watch his Pearl Jam guitar lessons, which I'll watch, or you can dive in, join his classes, and get some of that one-on-one time. And there's several others that do that. What's his name? I forget his name, but yeah, stuff like that.
I think there are avenues for everybody to pursue that benefit them. I'm just looking at something that I think is a little bit of an untapped market that would showcase my ability to teach and the knowledge that I have to get someone further along in their process of learning this than just watching a video. Again, I think those are super important. That's how I got into it. But if I were to have this where I could come on here with Javon and talk to him for half an hour, 45 minutes about a problem that I'm having, I would get more out of that than watching an hour worth of videos.
Absolutely, because you're addressing what your actual need is.
Correct.
What is that doing? Hold on. You want to see something of shame?
What's up?
This is a platform where most of my affiliates are. So literally, these are just where merchants let you come when you have it. Can you read that?
Yeah.
I wonder what the fuck that is. I've sent
don't
them an email. I tried to call them. They've got a Chicago number, but they
So-
didn't answer.
I want to circle back to one thing. I know Mimo was joking around, but I've kind of taken pride on this, and I think hopefully it's shown through in the past. But I don't like to exploit information or knowledge. I try to give that out, and I've always been open about that. I just think I want to take the teachings further, and if I'm going to do that, it's going to take time, and that time is money. So I have to find a way to balance that. I think what I can give is worth it for value added, but again, that's going to be whether the market bears it or not. I just wanted to bounce ideas off of people and see what their thoughts were. But I've never tried to exploit what I'm doing for money.
And
that
Kyle, I don't think anyone would even think that. And if you look at it as an instructor that is trying to share a craft and do one-on-one counseling, I'm sure it'll be fair, and I'm sure it'll be something that
I'm
people
talking
like
dirt.
me.
I'm talking dirt cheap. I'm not even
Oh
talking.
yeah, dude.
normal
I'm just saying it's something that, because I know what you do to help other makers out and stuff, and how it's kind of a cooperative anyway. And I think if you've got that in your like passion pit, I don't think there's any reason not to do it, because I think there are 100% enough people in the community who want to get better, me included, and I've been doing it for years.
Well, I just wanted to create it sounds generic, but like a coffee table book, basically, of here are my learnings and my findings. And if they, for a very nominal fee, and if that helps you out, then great. And if you want to pursue it further and want to take lessons online, that's great. I'm doing it because I want people to get better and not for the money. Because I honestly don't need to do it, but it's a matter of I want to do it to help people. And if they want it, then I'm all for it. So
Right, but and again, I'm just shit thinking out here. If you had a manual that you could download, or you had a place like a Patreon for a couple of bucks a month, someone could download that manual, and you, even if you don't want to do videos, let's say you just did audio, bi-weekly or weekly or anything, if that was something that you wanted to expand to, dude, I think the the idea to bring knowledge where people can absorb it, because it's happening in the music world. It's happening in, I just don't see a lot of it in the knife world. You get to watch a lot of people make knives. You get to learn a lot from just seeing, but there's not a lot of how-to content.
So my only thing is I hate, because now that's the big thing, and I know it's popular. It makes more sense financially is
Thanks,
to
brother.
sell people on subscriptions, but I don't like that. I'd rather do a one-time purchase and
Oh, that's totally cool.
you own it. It's yours, and do with it what you want. I don't want to milk people, because I'm not trying to make money off this. Like, as far as, like, I'm not trying to, get rich. It's more of, hey, I'm going to put some time into making this. I just want to recoup a little bit of my time. And
Have you ever thought about, and this is just another me just asking you questions while I've got you here on the spot. You know how Scott N is doing his Substack blog?
right,
Have you thought about creating a Substack for, again, I'm looking at different audiences who could consume your content and find value in it, because there's so many people, the Jason Momoas, that are kind of outside of the community. I think if you're going to take the time, this is me, if you're going to take the time to create content that you've amassed over years of experience, you should look for different ways to distribute it. And it doesn't have to be for profit. It just has to be to have a greater reach, to reach a larger audience.
I
And it
get
can
that.
be,
What I would like to do would be to eventually maybe look at different avenues, but I want to start off more with the general community, because I don't want to get to the point where I grow so fast, if I try to push that I can't provide. Because, say, whatever, say it gets popular, and then I get all these requests, and then I don't have time to spend helping people, then
right.
that defeats the purpose of me doing this at all.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's
You've got
where
to control your growth, because there's only one you.
correct. I don't want to run before I'm walking. Right. I need to figure out what the market will bear and what, supply and demand is of that. But I want
And I
to
was
keep
just thinking that the Substack,
business wise. I fully agree, and I get that. I just want to ease into it, so that way I'm not, outpacing myself.
right? And the only thing I think I was thinking of Substack, since it's a different platform, was a place for your e-book to be downloaded and consumed, not necessarily pushing anything other than your other site for people who want to just check it out, right? Not
Right.
necessarily trying to get anything except the information out there, because we think it's probably a less, or maybe not, less enthusiastic crowd that might be on Substack reading about knives.
Right. I mean, so and like Terry said, yeah, that I'm good with. Like, I don't mind if I were to create some type of, whether I could do it as a ebook or not. I don't know how that I'd have to dig in
Well,
more with that.
ebooks
But
more like what you were saying. I was just throwing out.
right, but I'm saying if I went that direction, that's fine. But I'm not going to offer like the one-on-one for just mass, because I don't have the ability or time that could get way
No,
out of hand.
trust me, dude. The bandwidth is, you want to maintain the bandwidth, so you maintain the joy in what you're doing. Very
Correct.
simply. Very
Correct.
simple.
I'm not trying, and here's the thing too. I'm not trying to expand. I'm not trying to make this a large functioning company. I don't have those aspirations. I don't want to. I want to have the passion of doing this to help. And that would, for me, I've done businesses before. That would run everything. I want to do it solely for the joy of helping someone. So
Absolutely. And I think it's a very, I think it's a really good idea. I think it's viable, and I think people would love to have access, because we always like to have access to someone we can talk to in the community, someone we can reach out to. And that's a great, I mean, everybody has access to Zoom, or you could even use StreamYard if you wanted to. However you wanted to connect.
Gotcha.
I think it's awesome.
Well, I appreciate the feedback. I just wanted to chat about that and see what people's thoughts were. So, and again, if you don't feel comfortable talking about it here, then hit me up and just tell me your thoughts, or whether it's good, bad, doesn't matter. I want to offer something to give back, but I can't.
Is Lucky Dog in here?
In fairness, I can't do it for free because it just takes time. And so,
hey, buddy, I don't know if y'all know Lucky Dog Knife Company. I'm a huge fan of their stuff. I think he's either got a drop coming in from Canada where they're being made, or some more that have just come in. Super nice guy. Good to see you, brother. You need to come back and join us sometime.
all right,
Sorry,
John.
Kyle, I didn't mean to
No, you're
interrupt.
good. I'm done with that as far as my rambling. Sorry. If anyone had questions about the topic tonight, or general questions for me, feel free.
Yeah, y'all load Kyle up with some questions.
And again, going back to what I was saying earlier, if people aren't comfortable,
No, you've had people like Mimo jacking with you, trolling on you.
well, no, I'm just saying if people aren't comfortable discussing avenues here, then I would be more willing to talk privately if you have questions. But
Lucky Dog, do you have both guard dogs and ranch dogs? I'll show you guys. I reviewed a guard dog, which I really liked, but I've got a ranch dog.
Marty, I have no clue. Stevie, I would do it for free for you. Terry, good idea. I appreciate that. And that's something that I will look into as far as options.
And the clip is so much better. Thank you for sending that out. I got an email about 6 months after picking up this knife that they found a better clip that made it easier to get the knife out because it's got great retention. I mean, it is a little beast.
Mimo, I had to learn that. I really took some serious lessons, voice lessons from some Canadians, eh?
Eh. 2 ranch dogs and 4 guard dogs left. Let me pull that up since my share sale is banned, and I got to find out why.
Thanks, Stevie. Appreciate that.
No, Kyle, I think you're on to something really, really cool. I was so glad to see. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see Donnie live tonight. Donnie was in the shop doing his thing. And I think if he does that more and more, I mean, because his stuff is so cool.
Yeah, I popped in for a little bit, but couldn't stay.
I love the little bulldog. And even though the site, you might reach out through Instagram. I'll drop the Instagram up here, but look at that bulldog. Do you see it? Is it
Yep.
Shen?
Yep, we can see it.
Well, 2-inch blade. Get it in the AEBL or carbon steel. Let me go to Instagram so y'all can message brother.
You're not my pal, Chief.
And these are being made by David, or they were being made, and I think they are, by David Martin Customs up in Canada. Really good knife maker. And here is, if anybody wanted to reach out and say, hey, I saw you said you had a couple of those available. I don't see them on the site. Shoot them a DM. Hey, Maddie, how long till you guys go live? I'm guessing it's about 45 minutes. Stevie,
About an hour.
an hour. Cool. Cool. No, but I love small fixed blades. I cannot lie. And I'll tell you, the one, I don't know if I showed you, I'm sure I have. But look how wicked that TKL is.
So
7 inches long.
while we're sitting here discussing, I've got this one is not completely done yet. I need to work on it some still, but I do believe this one is available.
Is that a joke?
That's a Thug
A thug?
with Fordite
Hold
and
on, let me make you bigger.
crew wear.
I've got a joke wolf on retention, and I like that. Hold on a second. Are those flats? That's a flat, isn't it? That just looks gorgeous.
No, this is a hollow. This is a hollow that was done by Satsu,
Sawtooth.
and then this is crew wear, Fordite, acid washed, and I get with Shane, but I do believe this one is available.
Are you in here, Shane? Probably not.
He's not. I've not seen him yet.
He's a Fairweather Johnson. He was in here earlier, I thought. Maybe not. Yeah, because I sent him a link. He was in here earlier. He was talking shit.
So these fit the hand extremely well. They're great. They're comfortable as all get out.
I like it better than the Joke Wolf, but I ordered the Joke Wolf a while back, and I put a deposit on it when he had 2 left, and he was doing Pulse first.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think how I'm going to do that review, dude.
I think these are going to be his number one seller.
I agree. I think that's a beauty.
Let's see.
I think
Drew. Yes, absolutely. I think that guy is going to get really pissy. Maddie, depends on the steel. Sometimes yes, most of the time no.
Kyle, I'm leaving it with you for a sec.
That's fine. And depending upon the steel, Maddie, it could change how the blade reacts. Some steels take on polishes, actually do better with polishes than they do with a lower grit edge, a working finish. That's kind of one of the common misnomers. Just because it's a polished edge does not mean it's not toothy. You can still get tooth on a polished edge. But what people end up doing is they polish knives or polish blades that shouldn't be polished because the steel isn't adequate for that. You can actually get less performance out of it based on certain steels, but yeah, so like there are certain steels that take a polish much better. So Ron, roughly 2.5, 3 years. What else we got? Marty, yours are rusted because you don't take care of anything and you keister them. Terry, not necessarily true. Generally, depending upon the steel, it can diminish it, but it depends on the steel. So, like for instance, crew wear. Crew wear will take a polished edge, a mirror, and have nasty bite.
That was a mistake.
Would you kick me out?
I didn't mean to. I meant to add myself back in, and you were saying it will take a toothy bite, and you went away.
Richard.
You were talking about crew wear.
So what I was saying, if you have a certain steel like crew wear, it can take a polish or a mirror edge and have a lot of bite still, but not only will it have that, but it'll maintain that longer than other steels will. So learning what steels are beneficial for what grits makes a big difference. But just saying, "Hey, I'm taking my knife to a mirror," does not mean it's going to be any better necessarily. So
Would you almost say that in most cases, a working edge is going to be your best bet for 99.99% of what we do with knives?
I will
Right.
say this as a general statement, and not as something that's for everything, but most steels, if you keep around 600 plus or minus a little bit, you'll be fine. Um, there are certain ones that I will polish just solely for the fact that they do better for that. And there are certain ones that you definitely do not want to even take to 600 because they will slick out. Um, and that just takes practice and learning what does what. Um, so,
So check this out. I got your WD-40 idea,
yeah,
and I got my clamps off. I've still got to clean them up.
good deal.
But do you think, because I was about to buy another $41 set, do you think these make a difference if I want to run Venise? Because I think
Yes.
these were actually a little worse than what was on my Blitz.
No, those are better than
I mean, they definitely look better, but one
no.
side,
They so you use the deeper side because that's the whole point of them. Is that way you're
right,
getting more
the
contact.
deeper side for your Venise or your thicker stones, and then your whatever the other ones are called, you use that other side because it's just the same, right?
Yeah,
The
I mean
other
your other
side's got that little 45 angle or
correct,
what?
correct.
Yeah, I've got
Terry,
it set up.
Terry,
I don't know.
I wasn't saying you're wrong. I just was saying that there are definitely different options for different things. But yeah, your experience is your experience, homie.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing is sharing those experiences. I'm going to set up because I've got two bedrooms I don't use, or one of them's got carpeting. I'll probably use it and set one of my little hard, heavy duty tables in there to sharpen on because I've got to get a better way to record sharpening videos.
Mimo, CPM 154, CPM D2, both of those will slick out fast. S35, if you take it too high, will get really, really fast or slick really fast. It just depends on the steel. Also depends on how it's treated too. So I mean, there's a lot of variables, and some of that comes down to feeling it and how it reacts on the stone. So, um,
Speaking of feeling it, I'm feeling it.
you're the worst.
I know. I've got it when I get the chance. I so rarely get the chance. I've got to get some fresh drops. Stevie's got the best one, and somebody always talks about it. And it's like, what is it? Rushing in to jump on Jack Wolf stick. Too good. I didn't mean to cut you off, dude. Go ahead.
No, you're good, Todd.
sorry.
Yeah. So the premise of a mirror is aesthetics mainly. Once you get above a certain grit, it's a whole process, and that could be another whole 30-minute evolution. But the point is having a polish will make a difference for certain steels, but not all. Another one that does phenomenal with a polish is 14C.
And like, what is it that Shakira Goroff? I know it's a different edge, but San Mai?
Sure, Goroff. No, they
Not
are
Shakira Goroff. I meant
you're talking MBK.
no, the one that Jared cut himself so bad on that that has the zero edge or the convex edge.
A Rockstead.
Rockstead. Isn't
That
ZDP
that
something
was
that
DP 189, I do believe.
I think it is.
But that is not necessarily the
It's more the process of how they're doing that.
Yeah. Paul, sorry, I was reading. You're talking about blades and fades. That's everything's a polish. And nice dude. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I just don't think that everything needs to be polished. That's just personal preference. So, well, not personal preference. That's experience. But again, nothing bad about the dude. I think he's cool, nice guy.
Which one do you have, Terry?
Oh, that's another one. He does the same thing. But yeah.
That's one preference I like over my Blitz. I don't know how accurate it is, but it had that little gauge that I could go in 0.5 microns. But this one works. It seems to work just as well. I haven't used different size thicknesses.
Terry, yeah, that's the only. That is the one downside with those. Now, there are some other options as you go up that they have more spring and they have a little bit better. And that's something, Terry, I don't know if you thought about trying is so like let me get this in frame here. The spring at the back here.
Let me make you big. Hold on.
Here, it's okay. I got to take it off here anyway. So the spring back here, Terry, I don't know if you can get a different length of the spring to be able, or different tension, so that you might be able to get a little bit more travel. So you could use both at the same setting. So it might be something to look into. Paul, yeah, there's another guy that does that too. I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. But Terry, I'd look into another spring option possibly to see if you can get more travel to hold both the Veneves and the ones with the Edge Pro 45-degree cuts on there.
Yeah, I've noticed on my Blitz that my Veneves on those enhanced holders did not hold as grippy as you would think they would. And maybe it's because I didn't have enough tension on them.
Yeah, so like this is the size one that you've got on your Blitz and that he's got on his Pioneer. But there's not a lot of, I mean, there's some give, but there's not a ton. And you might be able to even just change that spring out to see if you can get more reach to be able to adjust that. So,
and what I did was move my other side down. What's the downside of that?
What do you mean?
Like the side that's fixed. Like if you made it tighter.
You mean here?
Have a different spring. Yeah.
Well, that's just adjusting to be able to.
Well, if it's not holding it tight and you don't have a longer spring.
Well, then you would undo that, scoot it down so that way it's tighter here.
Right. That's what I was saying. You could do that, right?
Yeah, you could. But what he was trying to say is that way he didn't have to adjust this all the time. He was trying to find a way to be able to use this side and this side without having to adjust this.
Right. Just being able to switch out your stones. I know exactly what you're saying now.
Correct. Mimo, what was the other Mimo? If you're talking about what I was saying, there's definitely two guys that do the same thing that are always polishing.
Speaking about calling out people by name, I've not done it yet. And I did not put out my Fuck That Guy Friday.
Are you going to say something?
No.
Oh.
I'm restraining. I was just saying, I did watch the live tonight for a little while. Me and 15 other people. You got very defensive. Eggs and Ham, what's up, brother? What is up, Dave? Dave, I think, has been studying. I think he's been working hard. Good to see you, Eggs and Ham. Kyle, have you met Eggs and Ham?
Yeah.
22. He used to be in the chats. I thought you had. I thought you did for years.
I've been knowing Eggs and Ham since I was knee high to a duck.
I thought you were, and you are just now over knee high to a duck.
That's you, buddy.
That's me. That's true. At least I don't have to lie about my height.
Yeah,
I'm 5'6.5". Damn it. Barefooted. Not really, but close. I'm taller than Dylan Mallory and taller than Louis. What's Louis's screen name?
Joe, yes, they do. Shut up. Good to see you.
Master Joda. Ducks don't have knees. They've got something that looks like knees. They get calluses like you would think they had knees.
You still got me big. There you go.
I know.
So
I didn't do it on purpose.
No, you're good, bud. Anyone else have any questions? And hopefully that all made sense what I was talking about this evening. So
I've got a random giveaway.
Uh-oh.
Just for people in the chat. And I wasn't going to announce it. I'm just going to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat. And still we'll have a members gathering tomorrow. Don't know if it'll be at 11 or it'll be at 1. It just depends on if I wake up and I can get to that little knife show that's like 5 minutes away. Or if I wake up and I'm just feeling like bleh. So I'm just going to put in here. Winner. Got to be 18. You've got to live in the continental United States or have a proxy in the continental United States. And what I'm giving away was donated to the channel. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's Sakubi, the Tonto. It is, let me make myself big. So put in the chat, hashtag winner, like winner, winner, chicken dinner. There you go. B for Baron's getting in there. It's a little chode of a knife. Very sharp. Let me get some of my paper. Hey, I almost bought a button lock Protect today. The what's it called? The TS1, the one that just came out in a button lock with thumb studs.
Which one?
It's the TR1, I think. Is that what it's called? You know, they've got the Malibu, which I've got.
The TR3?
Yes, is that what it is? The manual?
That's the manual one that just came out.
Yeah. Hey, Fed Harrison. Yes, they had it
recently
at River's Edge Cutlery for $250. I almost bought it, but I thought, no, I need to be responsible. So I bought a Glock BB pistol for like half the price. Is that not ridiculous?
I think that's a stupider decision.
It's a much stupider decision. But I'm not always known for making the best decisions. And it was more than half of what I could have bought. If I'd have bought the TR3, is that what it is?
I believe so.
Shane talked to me about it a little bit, and he wasn't trying to detract me from it because his is a totally different generation. But I've already got the Malibu. I might be trading for a Warncliffe Malibu, and I can always pick it up down the road.
He changed his from an auto to a button lock. That's why.
I don't think so. Did he? I don't think so. No, I think his has got a flipper tab. I think this is a different knife that he's got. Maybe not. But I also bought, dude, a little like 16 by 10 trap so I can shoot this thing from my couch into my fucking hall like I used to with my slingshot.
Yeah.
So I'm wanting just I can't get out to the range as much. I've got a little laser thing that I can put in my P365 and shoot this little laser target, but that's not realistic. I just feel like if I can sit in my living room and pump BBs into a little target, hitting these little levers, it'll be a good thing. So how many people do we have into our giveaway?
That's me under your name that I just entered for Kathleen.
We've got 29 and we've got 58 in here. So some of you guys need to drop in. Tim Burgess got in. Don't know Tim Burr, but it's good to see you, brother. Welcome, welcome. It definitely was a responsible decision. Well, Lancelot Leather 2 years ago I bought when I was a kid, I had a Benjamin. First, I had a Beeman. Then I had a Benjamin 22 caliber pump air rifle made out of a wood stock, a great rifle. The seal broke in it because it was 30 years old. Well, I went to Amazon and Benjamin, everything now is PCP, which is just like compressed. You either use a bicycle pump or you use a compressor, and you can get amazing, like 700 feet per second out of these things, and a lot bigger calibers. But I bought the last pump up Benjamin rifle, which is just like the Benjamin 22 caliber single shot I had, but it's polymer, and the sights are hard. It's hard to sight it in because you have to like look at up high on it. And I always wanted a pistol, so I almost bought the Crossman pump because you get a lot more feet per second, and it's also 22 caliber. But I thought, no, I just want something to plink with. Lancelot leather farts at 700 feet per second. So we've got 32 people. Not everybody's excited about the and I'll tell you what else comes with it. I'm gonna make myself big. It'll also have
Kathleen, that was me. You're welcome.
It'll also have a let me see if I can grab it. And these are like $30.
Javon, have you looked into the Mantis X?
Dude, I almost fell. What?
You look into the Mantis
Why does that sound familiar? The Mantis
training system at home for your
Oh, I've not looked into it. What I've got is the Rhino. You've heard of it, right? It's the cheaper one. It was like $40, and it's a cartridge. And then I've got a couple of targets that I got from Amazon that are hit and miss, But no, is it one that you can? How does it work?
Yeah, there's that one, and then it's probably going to be a little more expensive, but there's one coming out before too long that actually. I'll send you the video. It actually cycles. So
I bought a P355 so I could shoot 22 caliber through it.
The 322.
Yeah, is that what it is? 322, not 355. I got a 322 and a 365. So this is a little like pressure held in thing that you can put your key ring on. It comes with two different sizes of rings. I've got one on my key ring. I can't pull it apart without the rings on it, but it's called a Prometheus Lights Kappa QR. So this will be in for whoever wins tonight, which is as cool as the knife. The knife is cool though. I can't stress enough. It's a flipper. It's a Kubi I'd never seen before. Got a backspacer that's also this wacky lanyard, or you could probably hook a carabiner on it, put it on your backpack. It's a Tanto.
Attitude adjuster.
Exactly. It's chody. It's smaller. Give you a dimension, and then I'm going to draw for it.
Does Prometheus make a nice little light?
They do. They've sent me two. I've got one that I'm carrying right now. They're not Prometheus. They're their budget brand. They're 4.7s.
Yeah.
But they're made just like the Prometheus in terms of the programmability and the fact that they use the same boards. They're just made overseas, and they don't solder them. So if you want to go in and you want to change out the button, or if you want to change out your whatever you call that, the LED, you can do that. And I use this little light for everything. And this light they sent to me to check out. I carry more than my, I've got two of these that I bought. I forget what they're called.
FocusWorks.
What?
FocusWorks.
Yes. I got a FocusWorks, like 2 and 3. I like them both, but the clips are hard to get in and out of my pocket, where this clip's great. And it does kind of the same function, so I really like it. But they sent me one that I just did a review on. It's not an EDC light, but it's this big ass thing right here. It's called, I think, the MXR Standby. And what's cool about it is it runs off a single 26, I want to say 26650 battery, but it's got this weird thing on the end that you don't ever want to fuck with, that black thing. And you can plug it in. It's got a little base that you set it in, right? So it's a home light. I can push it once. I can hold it down. It gets bright. It's really bright, right? But it's a home light. So when I put it in the base, it stays charged. Well, if the power goes out, it candles on. So your power goes out. You've got it set somewhere in your house. It'll kind of lead you to it. And then when you just pull it out of its base, it can be off, and I can pick it up to take it outside, and it'll go on to the lowest setting, which then I just hold the button and it cycles through to high, or I can push it twice and it goes to like burst. But it's a really cool light for a home light. I tried to get my mom to use it, but she's comfortable with her Walmart lights. Let's see how many people we've got that have signed up. Stop sharing.
This is my normal carry.
Let me see. Hold on. What is that?
Streamlight HLX.
Streamlights are great.
Yeah. This is their full-size one.
My most obnoxious small light, and I could recommend it to anybody, is my CountyCom LEP, which is a laser emitted projector. So that's just like one big eye of God. So when I shine this, it will shoot a volleyball sized beam of light about 2,500 feet. So let's see how many people we've got signed up. I'm going to share it again. We only have 35 entries, but we're getting ready to run it. So you guys have about 10 seconds, 15 long seconds to get hashtag winner. In the giveaway for the, you'll get a couple of stickers. You'll get the little Kappa QR from Prometheus Lights, and you'll get the Kubi. I don't know the name of it, but it's a cool light, a cool knife. Very sharp, very sharp. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. We're at 36. Y'all got just a few seconds to get in. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good luck, kids. May you win fairly. And it's the guy who couldn't have gone to a nicer gentleman. Brother Zach's stuff.
Wow, that proves your theory too.
It does prove my theory.
That's cool. Congrats, Zach.
Congratulations, Zach. Zach's stuff gifted himself a membership. Karma came back around. He won the giveaway, which he can use for a giveaway. And I'll send him some extra swag. And brother Zach, shoot me an email. I think I've got you, but just to make sure. JUHBNS. I thought I was smart when I changed and quit using my Knives Live 2021 and added my channel name as an email address, but it's too long to type. It's a pain in the ass. Zach, I hope you get a better day tomorrow, buddy. And I hate that you had a tough one today, but you shoot me an email. I will send you some sunshine.
Sorry to hear that,
long.
Zach, but I'm glad you're here with us, bud.
Absolutely, man. It has been an interesting one. The thing that's been good for me, for my mental state, and this sounds crazy, but my mom, I think I've told you guys, has adopted this cat, right? I'm going to throw him up here on the, that's him right there. See him?
Yep.
She adopted this cat who was feral. And so I go by every day, which is good because I see my mom and then I get to hang out with that cat. And she went to Tunica with one of her friends and I had to go take care of the cat for like 4 days. So in those 4 days, the little cat bonded with me. Super sweet little cat. And now that I go over there, he just assume hates me because he's gotten back in tight with my mom. But it's really good to go by and get your blood pressure lowered by an animal if you've got access to them. Animals rock.
Yep.
And days can be gloomy and they can suck. But they always get better. I say they can always be better tomorrow. At least that's the story I tell myself.
I don't want to mess this up. If I open up another web page, it's not going to kick me off stream, is it?
Nope. You can open a web page and you can share it. You should be.
I don't necessarily need to share it. I just wanted to check something out for Terry.
Nope. You can open anything and you can share it. Paul Mills. Paul Mills is a brother from another mother. He knows the struggle's real. The struggle is real. But we get through it together, right? Was it that Beatle that said we could get by with a little help from my friends? No, that was us. Not the Beatle. That was think of his name, John. Okay, why can't I think of his name? The guy that sang at Woodstock. Get by with a little help from my friends.
You were there.
No, I wasn't. I was born that year, but what was his name? What was his name? Joe Cocker. Thank you, Tim Burr. It was Joe Cocker. Fantastic rendition. I would play it now for you all, but I'd get a slap on a copyright strike like nobody's business. How's your searching going? What's up, Level On Up?
That was from the one day
Zach
your song.
is the pillar. Zach and Big Red are the two people that I felt more welcomed into this community when I started than anywhere. And they've been staples. They've never changed who they were. They're just great human beings. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Zach in person. I did meet JB for a short time, not long enough, but it was good enough to get a hug. And just the finest of the fine. And I'm glad he's here too. So we have got, let's see what the honey bucket. I've got to do a vertical stream. We got 2 waiting. We're upcoming. How long? 25 minutes. We've got 25 minutes till Maddie. And who are you having on, Maddie? Are y'all having Sharif, or is it you and Stevie, or is it up in the air? Still hadn't decided yet. Are you going to have Shane and his pepperoni nipples?
Milk duds.
Hey, I don't know if I showed you guys this knife. I know it won't make a lot of the, I'm going to make it big for 1 second. This is a knife that was sent to me by Tenable. I don't know if I've told you guys, but Concept has sent me several knives to check out, and I wanted to check out one of their budget knives. And this is the Tenable Cryo, which is a bar lock with 14C steel, aluminum handles for $52. It does have kind of a sluggish screen door detent, but I think that's, some bar locks are hit and miss, but it goes in and out of pocket well. And what's cool about it is the Cryo is a big knife. So this is like PM2 size. This is not a little knife. Up in the air, probably Sharif. Thinking about someone else as well. Cool, dude. Well, I'm going to be, I'm not going to slip out and do any eating. I'm going to eat here in the house because if I were to slip out and do some eating, I would fall asleep on the couch. Neil, shut up, dork. Kyle Coonley has got one strike for taking advantage of his.
Well, I can't chat with my own name, otherwise I would. But when I'm in here,
You can chat with your own name, Goo.
how?
You're Kyle Coonley on the thing.
No, when I'm in StreamYard and I went to type and it put me.
Well, you should when you come in, you can choose to. I think that's one of the settings. But anytime you see someone giving you shit that sounds like Kyle, it's probably Kyle. It's not me. I just happened to catch that one. What is up, Bluminati? Share that.
Hey, Blue, remind me. Send me a message because I keep forgetting to send pictures to you of those cards. So if you get a chance, send me a.
I'm trying to get to where I can make it big on the screen. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get to it. So we can look at it real quick before we have to say adios. Hold on. Let me find it. Vaughn. Where is it? Here it is. That chat. Where's that chat? There's Blue. There it is. Boom. I can share it now. The link is in the chat. Dude, those are good prices. Love the mischievous grin sticker. Man, it makes my logo look so third grade. And I've got a daughter who is who graduated college as a graphic designer. I love that. Y'all go to Blue's store and support it and get some of this awesome swag. $18 sniper troll sniper t-shirt. That is cheap. That is inexpensive. I know the ones on my spring store are like twice that, it seems like. They look awesome though. Well, Kyle, you got any parting words before we jump over to Maddie's?
I don't. I just appreciate you having me and let me have a platform to talk.
Dude, I appreciate you sharing your stuff. What I need to get from you, and I couldn't find it on your Instagram because I wanted to put it in the crawl, is your TS Prof link. Where do I find that? I know people share it.
It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of my webpage.
I couldn't find your webpage, and I searched it. Hold on, let's find it right now.
Here, I'll type it in chat.
All right, that means I've got to get over to my chat. Drop it in there. If accidentally somebody got put in timeout, it was not my intention. Zach Stuff, thank you for stopping by, buddy, and congratulations on your win. My portfolio, go to channel, boom. It took me to a channel. All right, that did not work. Clean Works, my portfolio. You type it in. WERKS, right?
Yeah, I'm getting right here. Let me.
My portfolio. I think I might be able to type it in.
Here's the link. I'm pasting that too.
Something went wrong. I'm an idiot.
There you go. I just posted the link for the TS Prof too in the chat.
Awesome. I'm going to pop that in my notes. All right, guys. I will see everybody over at Said Faction. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Congratulations to Zach. Congratulations to every one of you that came out and hung with us. I appreciate it. I know Kyle appreciates it. I appreciate Kyle for coming out and sharing his knowledge. And dude, we'll talk tomorrow. Like I said, the member live, which you guys will still get to participate in. It'll be a 30-minute, 45-minute deal. Might be at 1 o'clock, Might be at 11. I'll figure out what time when I wake up and decide if I'm going to jump over to that show, which won't take me more than an hour, but I'll get some footage. I love each and every one of you. Do me a favor. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. And rock out to this killer tune while you say goodbye to each other. Love you all. Peace.
Later.
I'm back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in the pair.